I do want to talk about a couple of things, and I know that we're a little late here because we were in here on Monday because I was back in New York. While I was gone, though, Cleveland Browns fans.
Wait, what happened? What happened in Cleveland, Tom?
Man, I was explaining this entire saga to Maya yesterday and like what just transpired over the couple days I was gone, but then also expanded out and was like, well, actually, they've had a really rough offseason. Lose your defensive coordinator because he thinks he's going to get a head coaching gig, and then you trade away a generational player. And so in preseason world, the Cleveland Browns they're playing football, and they still have a quarterback problem in which their quarterback options are not so great. Deshaun Watson comes out on the field, gets booed. Shedeur Sanders had did you see 5.5 minute sideline interview? That was a thing. So they get booed, or excuse me, Deshaun Watson gets booed. He's asked about it in the post-game press conference where he's like, well, it's not a football thing. It's a personal thing. And it's a bit disrespectful. I've done so many things in the community. I've gone, and tried and make Cleveland my home. But, people are going to have opinions, but I think it's just disrespectful. And then goes on and he clarifies, I've never had any regrets in my life. And is and I was like, really? None? Not a single one. And so there is this huge backlash. Right. And Shedeur Sanders, we're all people. So, when people boo, I don't really like that either. And then you have Todd Monken come out and be like, well, if you don't want to be booed, be a better quarterback, just play better at the position. Because if we want to just keep it to football, keep it to football. Also not good at that. And so then after this big old tidal wave of news where this is embarrassing for the Cleveland Browns and, oh, my God, how could you even consider playing Deshaun Watson? The very next day, they name him as the starter. So I want to talk about that and just that saga.
Yeah. Which they didn't even have to do it that week.
They did not. They
could have waited.
The next day. So just saying. The thing that I'm looking at is that the Browns, they start on the road, right? Their first 2 games are on the road. Their second game, if I'm not mistaken, is against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then they have their home opener week 3. If they start the season 0-2 and Baker Mayfield just goes off on them week 2, man, week 3 is going to get real interesting. You have Dan Orlovsky, who's like, hey, boycott games. Just don't go to the games, which I feel like is pretty substantial for a nationally recognized media person to say about an NFL fan base of hey, just do not go. It's pretty horrible, man. I feel so bad for Cleveland Browns fans. And obviously this has gone on for a long, long time, but it feels like every single time it can't get worse, it somehow gets worse. And we're not even talking about the play on the field.
The good news, usually it's always darkest before dawn, right?
Yes.
Unless you're a Browns fan. It's always darkest before it just gets darker. And then a little more dark.
Yeah.
They're stuck in Plato's cave. There's no light.
There's no light.
There's no light in there.
Yeah.
I think looking at everything that's happened, we were all under the impression that the Browns were leaning towards starting Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
That had kind of been the offseason story.
Yes.
But then we watched him play and we were like, why? Because it was at least hey, Watson might be looking a little better in camp. Sure. And then he gets out there and he just sucks. He sucks ass. It's he's not good at all.
Bad. He's bad.
He's bad. He's not pushing the ball downfield at all. And he's having some comically terrible throws. So you're okay. What's the upside here? Oh yeah, 0. There's no upside. What's the upside with Shedeur? Maybe a little bit. And then he does his press conference and it's terrible. And I think the thing about Watson that has just not there's lots of things about him that don't sit well with people, but the fact that he has shown no remorse for the situation, has never owned up to at least part of what he did wrong. And you could say a best case scenario, right? He was using these massage situations for consensual and paid sex, and that maybe he misread a few situations and thought that's what it was, and it wasn't. Best case scenario, right?
Best case scenario.
And he said, I was exploiting a situation. Like, he just never showed any remorse at any point. So when he says, I have no regrets, I could think of like 26 regrets. Maybe that would come to mind.
Just a few.
So I think that, like, when he says something like that, that's what really drives people crazy. And that's if you're being very forgiving to the situation for him.
Yes.
And if one day we find out he was set up and he was framed and he was like, all of this was just the lawyer, bringing all, if we find that out, fine, we'll all apologize. But I don't think anybody in the right mind actually believes that. So take that out of the equation entirely. And you're just looking at quarterback play. Yes. Not good enough to earn the starting job.
Correct.
I mean, the Falcons, it's funny because Stefanski goes to Atlanta, and now Tua's been terrible.
Yep.
And they don't even know who they're going to have. Like, Tua is losing a quarterback battle that he was not battling for. He was supposed to be the starter until Penix is good, and now they're like, dang, we've got nothing to show for Tua. So you would think Todd Monken would be like, all right, yeah, let's just start Shedeur. And then the other way to look at this, if you're being very kind to the Browns, is, okay, yeah, Todd Monken wants Shedeur to really have a grasp of the offense. 2 road games. They're going to be tough. Throw Watson out there. Let them work out the kinks for their offensive line, and then bring in Shedeur when they feel like, everything's functioning a little better. But
it's exactly what you said, right? And what team do I think has the most potential to be a positive surprise? Might be the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints have a potentially, they have a low floor, but they also could have a decently high ceiling.
Yeah.
The Saints are a weird team this year. I feel like that they could surprise some people. They're also in a division where,
I think Baker Mayfield breaks the record for most passing touchdowns in a game week 2. Nobody likes a revenge game more than Baker.
If they're
week 2, 8 TDs he throws against the Browns.
If there is a game that Baker Mayfield is motivated to just go off, every week you want to win. Sure. Let's just say, and Baker, who has spoken himself, who has had chips on his shoulder before, oh man, if he just lights him up, yeah, week 3 is going to get real interesting. But it's exactly what you said, man, right? Like, there is all the off the field stuff when Deshaun Watson comes in, and it kind of is just piled on one another. And I feel like none of this is new, right? And it's exactly what you said, that there was already this expectation that Watson was going to start this year because he's in the final year where he's actually going to be on the team, which again makes this past, what was that, about a month ago? He was asked about potentially getting another contract. He's like, oh, I'd love another contract with Cleveland. You are getting run out of town, my friend. Like, run out of town. So they're going to be paying him forever, right? So they're going to be paying him well beyond this year, but this will be his last year on the actual squad. You make, arguably, and I know Herschel Walker, you make arguably the worst trade in NFL history, because it's really high up there, man. Like, it's
the worst. It is the worst.
It's pretty.
There's no questioning it.
Gotta look out. So it's 3 first-round draft picks. It is a fully guaranteed contract, and you are playing like absolute, like, they got zero return on this. You got all the bad PR in the world, right? Baker Mayfield's no longer there. So you haven't had good, consistent QB play since you brought him in. You've been trying to draft other quarterbacks, and they're still growing and developing. That's the best case scenario. And again, Watson, even when healthy, which has been a problem these last few years, takes the field and is absolute dog water. So it's whatever one you want to take. And it just feels like, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, this organization just finds new and innovative ways every single time to make it that much worse. Because now it feels like for this season, you traded away Myles Garrett, right? And I still think their defense is going to be good. because they have some really talented players on that defense. So you're going to waste another year of that defense, which who knows if that's going to take a step down because you lost your defensive coordinator because he thought he was getting the head coaching job, right? Your offense, you hope, develops, but the best case scenario is that they suck and that you are able to draft a quarterback next year. That's like best case scenario. So we're about to get into the NFL season where we're going to see 17 weeks of football, and already Browns fans are like, this is miserable. Please, God, make it stop. And we haven't even started. We still have another preseason game to play. That's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah, and it's like, we know why Deshaun is still there. This is the reason. Like, if you cut him, he has just insane dead cap hits if you were to cut him. With him on the roster, the Browns still have the second most in dead cap money out there. So they are in such a horrible situation. And Andrew Berry, their general manager, I think he's very good at drafting. I think that's a strength of his. But how they have managed their cap situation since this trade has just been very short-sighted. And now they are paying the piper. They're in a 2-year window of where they have really no options, or at least all options are bad options, and they just kind of got to eat it.
Because, like, the Dolphins, right, obviously leading it in dead cap, like, they went through a fire sale this past offseason, right? They got rid of a lot of these big-time contracts. Obviously, no more Tua, no more Tyreek Hill, no more Bradley Chubb. Like,
yeah, the Dolphins, it's
trade away Waddle. But the intention behind it is like, oh, we are going, like, you know, we're probably not going to be great. We are actively rebuilding. We have a new GM. We have a new head coach, you know, new quarterback, a whole new world. For Cleveland, their window, because the only reason they traded for Deshaun Watson was because they had this window where they're like, hey, we have a really damn good defense. We have some nice pieces on offense. We can go and contend. Because if you watch old Deshaun Watson in Houston, right, when he was like at the top of his game, dude was a great quarterback. Like, holy crap. Like, we talked about him in the same breath of, damn, like Patrick Mahomes and just his athletic ability. He can scramble, he can throw and we've seen none of that. So they got none of that upside. They got all the downside. He's barely played for them. When he's played for them, he's been awful. He has all the off the field stuff. And now it's just, man, it's coming to a head. What do Browns fans have to be happy about?
Nothing.
Literally nothing. And I know it's been like that for a minute, but holy crap, man, is it bleak? Like, while at least we're like, all right, football's coming back. Man, Browns fans are like, well, football's coming back.
I just root for the other close team, the Bengals this year.
There you go.
Root for the Bengals.
There you go.
Cleveland.
So, yeah, man, it's pretty tough. It's pretty damn tough. But
you know, and let's say if Watson starts every game, it might just be because he is bad.
Yeah.
Maybe he takes them to the number 1 overall pick.
And that's the best case scenario at this point. And again, I think, unfortunately, just, dude, it's like another year of that defense just being wasted.